Let's pin this sucker.
Careful, that's an antique.
Hopefully it doesn't explode.
As long as we're claiming things, do you mind?
Don't let them speak ill of Orin, Kraloth.
Is there a problem here?
What the hell even was that?
Coming upstairs, and yes, it's dangerous, but it's also just a house.
This red flame burnishes from within.
Doran, are you okay?
Yeah, I think I tripped something. Darn you, Moradin.
Welcome back to Dice Shame, episode 34, Like a Moth to a Flame.
MVP this week is Mike Arguetta at Pick Overlord on Twitter. Thank you so much for the kind review, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. With the COVID pandemic still going strong, we wanted to take a moment to tell you about a board game cafe right by us that we love and are excited to share. Critical Hit Gaming Lounge. And yes, it is as cool as it sounds.
Traditionally, Critical Hit Gaming Lounge is a board game cafe. However, they're also a hobby store selling Warhammer, Magic the Gathering, and a myriad of other awesome games. They're also an event space for games, a lounge for people to relax, and a kick-ass place for people to play D&D with their own organized groups.
Yeah, it is a really cool business, and more importantly, they are really cool people. So check them out. We highly recommend.
I heard they also offer ethically sourced meat now, which is very cool.
All right, are we ready to do this?
Absolutely.
You.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
How's everyone doing today?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Did you guys know there's a Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Oh, dude,
With Marlon Wayne?
Oh, you've seen it?
Years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't memorable enough to actually remember.
I think mostly what I remember is Dragon Magazine was still being published at the time, and so they did a big write-up in it to convert all of the things in that movie to like items and stats and spells and stuff for the game.
To actual D&D?
Yeah, it was nonsense, but I remember that a lot.
That's a lot of work for a fucking terrible movie.
Well, we were talking actually about playing D&D the movie.
Oh boy, that's a whole
D-
and how
D&D, the game, the
virtually
movie, the game.
unplayable. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Where you get to play like just the worst depiction of a dwarf in all of cinema.
And then
Oh,
make that
God.
into a movie.
Gomly. Yeah, of course. And then you got to make the game into a movie.
D&D, the movie, the game, the movie.
It was bad? Was it based on a campaign at all?
No, it's so bad.
It's nonsense. I don't think anybody who wrote it or did anything in it loved D&D at all. There's there should be dragons and a dungeon, I guess, and fantasy, whatever.
There's a beholder in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does nothing. It's on screen for a minute and they're like, oh, beholders. And then one of the guys throws something off camera and the beholder gets distracted, follows the thing off camera,
with all
and
of
you
its,
never
like, 6
see it again.
eyes. I'm hoping, and I'm glad that we haven't run into a beholder yet. I feel like this house, of all the places we have been in, could hold a beholder.
Do you think so?
It's dark, it's damp, who
Hey,
knows?
well, at least we know how to
Who
take care of
knows?
it now.
Just throw a rock.
It's true. Distract it.
And then forget it was ever there.
So where are we? We're standing. The last thing I remember is Jack waved his hands and a million imps blew up.
Oh, we shattered some imps to smithereens.
You did. This
yeah.
was all
We-
you.
Wow, it's a team
bruv.
effort.
I wasn't even in the room. I remember running into the room and being like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, Doran took most of the...
Sorry about
How is Doran doing health-wise, says the cleric.
that.
I've got 27 out of 72. Ooh, reverse numbers.
Oof.
Not
It
great.
is no good when the wizard has more health than the fighter.
Let's kill the wizard a little bit.
Wait, hold on. Whoa, hold up.
Did you use your second wind?
No, I use my action surge. I haven't used my second wind. I don't think there's anything in the room, right?
Doran, you are standing about 10 feet into this dark dining room.
Right.
There are some chairs that are carved to look like devils. A fireplace largely dominates the western wall. And behind you stands Kraloth and Red and Jack, all just kind of peeking beyond you into the darkness.
Doran, are you okay? I'm going to run over and check him.
Oh, I'm fine.
Doran is covered in shards of glass and old wine because Jack had shattered the wine cabinet.
A tragedy.
And we've been drinking, so I'm licking my lips.
Doran, you don't look so good. You don't look like you're at your usual strength.
Well.
Let me take a look at you.
What if we just took a short rest?
Yeah.
We could do that.
Could do. It's the middle of the night. It's about 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, where's the person that's here trapped somewhere?
Oh, right. Well, I did detect a humanoid on the second floor.
Well, we should
Oh.
go find them, shouldn't we?
Now, hold on a second. I walk over to the chairs and say, Jack, do you recognize any of these creatures? They look kind of evil.
Devilish for sure.
As you guys are chatting, Doran walks over and sits down in a chair and starts picking out the shards of glass from his face and from his arms and doing a little bit of self-care as far as bandaging wounds and whatnot.
For sure.
Self-care is pulling glass out of your wounds.
The people who used to live here, do we know anything about them really? Like,
Only way you can derive from context clues. If you like, you could probably roll an insight on something in particular. If you had any kind of specific.
yeah, I mean, it strikes me as very strange that there's fae and, demonic imps and blood imps and all of these rabid creatures that could be brought in from another plane, and here we have devil chairs. There seems to be a connection there, and maybe the owner of the house has more info. I'm definitely going to do a insight check.
Sure. On the chairs, I guess, in particular.
On the chairs, on the furniture, on any photos, I'm basically looking for magic users,
Okay.
and I got a natural 20.
Whoa!
Nice.
J-Man.
Well
on
done.
the liverless die.
Beautiful.
That dice has been treating you pretty nice.
Really, really well. I really like it.
So you cast your eyes over the contents of this room. A couple of things occur to you. First, obviously, these elegant high-backed chairs are carved in such a way that you would feel uncomfortable to sit in them as a man of the light yourself. You imagine that maybe whoever has until lately owned this home may have invited people over here to display their wealth and power, that this dining room was meant as a show of some kind.
Doran's just sitting there picking glass out
Yep.
of his feet in this high back chair with devils perched on the corner.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
Completely oblivious. It's a chair. You're sitting in it.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
Doran's
Yeah.
otherwise occupied. Kraloth, it also occurs to you as you're standing near this broken wine cabinet, you smell something that isn't wine. Sort of intermingled in the scent of this rich burgundy smell of good wine. Threaded through that smell, you do detect something wrong. And with your natural 20 in insight, it occurs to you that one of these bottles was probably laced with some kind of poison that the people who live in this house may have kept in reserve in order to poison someone, maybe who they were having over for dinner.
Wow.
I don't think that there were good people who lived in this place.
What makes you think of that, Kraloth? And I lean on one of those giant fucking demons on a chair. Just really, I love the idea that we're in this room that's so clearly painted as evil. And for some reason, Doran and Red are kind of oblivious to it.
It's a classic Asmodeus style on those chairs there, inspired by what they say that great archdevil looked like,
Is that what that is?
That's what it looks like to me.
Well,
Very fiendish.
needless to say, I think that we should take a break. I know that there is someone upstairs who might need our help, but chances are if the demons and imps didn't get to them by now, they probably won't, since we've cleared out hopefully half of them.
I agree. After all, Zulkin was in here looting and had time to run all the way back to town, get us, and come back here, and the person's still alive. So, yeah, I think we have a little bit of time.
And as you guys look back into the parlor, Zulkin has his back to you and he's just finishing rolling up that tapestry that he had been interrupted in looting.
Thanks, Zulkin! And I walk over and I take the tapestry from him.
I think we'll decide how we split the loot afterwards, right? That was the whole deal?
No, it wasn't. And I try to take the tapestry from him.
He tries to pull it back out of your grasp. Yes, I think it rather was.
Careful, that's an antique.
No, it doesn't.
Kraloth steps up behind Red, his body looming, and just glares down at Zulkin. Is there a problem here?
Yes,
Just I've got Red's back, kind of.
yes, there is a problem, actually. Kraloth, my friend. When I sent you that letter at the inn to tell you about this wonderful opportunity, we had discussed looting this home together, and Red seems to think that all this property is de facto his.
I think you were the one rolling up this tapestry.
Yes, of course. Finders keepers and all that.
Right, well, why don't I hold on to it until we split up the loot?
Sure. Why don't I just hold on to your bag of holding until then?
Oh.
That's not going to happen, Zolkin. Now, the way I see it is we've come in here, we've helped you out. How many imps have you killed so far?
No imps.
Well, I think it's fair to say that the people who've done most of the work should get most of the prizes. Does that sound unfair to any of you?
Not to me.
Doran's pulling glass out of his face, and he goes, yeah, maybe you should shove your face in that glass cabinet there first, Zolkin, and then you can get some of the stuff that we're gathering here.
Zolkin takes a few steps back and drops the tapestry, Red.
Careful.
He looks between the four of you and then back at Oren, who is skulking around in the hallway, and he says, well, I think I see where this is headed, and I don't much like it, to be frank. I thought we were going to be able to strike a deal, between us all, but I think you mean to, deal me out of this hand.
Listen, we've got a lot of trust to regain here, Zolkin, and it's gonna be a bit of a hike for you, I'll be honest, after Nightstone.
How about we make a deal, officially, here, now?
More deals. What do you guys say?
What do you propose?
Of all the loot we take as a team, and I think you'll agree that I was instrumental in your finding this place and arriving here in the first place. I want a quarter share.
If you could have done it yourself, you would have. You would get nothing without us, so I think...
Regardless.
A sixth, Oren's on our side, a equal share for every person.
I think we can all agree that your halfling friend is doing very little.
He is instrumental to us succeeding here. Don't let him speak ill of Oren, Kraloth. Look, this guy was rolling up a tapestry behind our backs. I think he was trying to sneak off with it. All I wanted to do was make sure that he wasn't going to take some loot and run.
Fair enough.
I think if I hold on to all the loot and we show it to everybody, that yeah, at the end Zolkin can have his share. I'm not trying to stiff him, but I also think he's trying to stiff us. Wait, what is it? Uff or us? Us. He's trying to stiff us.
So Tabaxi saying,
I have to agree with you, Red.
I assure you, Red, I had no intention of stiffing you. I could hardly walk straight with this tapestry rolled up and on my back. I was merely trying to take care of the details while you managed to sift through the glass towards your dwarf friend there.
So what you were saying, it was obviously my misunderstanding, is that you were just taking this tapestry and strapping it to your back while we moved forward through the house to fight more enemies. Yes, I think I should hold on to the tapestries, and let's put it to a vote. This is a democracy. I vote we hold on to it.
I agree. And at the end of this, we divvy it equally. 1/6.
Agreed. Jack, Kraloth, Oren?
I mean, I just really want to take a look at everything before it leaves here. This place is full of some really fascinating old stuff. I mean, we'll find a fair way to split it up later.
No, I don't think that's a good idea, my friend Jack. I think we should decide on the way that we split the loot here and now.
Zolkin, for all of the things that we may have disagreed on in the past, I promise you, we don't have any interest in shouldering you out of any cut that is fairly yours. Trust us. Ultimately, if this is meant to rebuild that trust, let's make this step one.
I just look down at my hands and remember that moment in the rain where you and I were trying to save Kraloth's life, and it's like, yeah, we'll make sure it's fair.
He takes a step toward you, Red, and grasps your hand, shakes it firmly, and says, well, I'm glad we could come to some understanding.
Me too. Magic items are ours. Let's go.
Now, with that said...
There's an asterisk.
Yeah.
Exempting any magic
I say it
items.
before I let go of his hand, too.
He doesn't even hear it. He's just like, yeah, no problem.
And Doran, with a thud, both feet hit the ground, and he stands up, studious, and says, all right, let's get moving.
So, did you take a short rest? 1 hour?
Yes, I rolled 55 on my 6 D10s.
Yeah, and I'm going to round up all the loot and put it in the bag of holding. All the tapestries, the vases, all that kind of stuff.
Classic.
Which we can list and sort out later.
The rod we found this morning.
Yes?
Pull it out. Let's...
Oh, right. He pulls it out. You hear all these vases falling. It's all right. There's still something.
I picture the bag of holding being like a very, if you fell in there, it'd be like a very, very neatly stacked room with tons of shelves.
And actually, it's really exciting, too, because if you guys, when you ask, you're like, what's in here? You peek in and you see it's like so neat. Like Red has like hopped in there and sweeped almost.
Look at this
it's
stuff.
Crazy.
Isn't it neat? Something's to some.
What's a fork? Yeah, I pull out the big giant rod, literally, and lay my hands upon it and say, Alakazam!
Yeah, and I think Jack puts his hands on the rod and channels some arcane energy into it and tries to locate the nearest object made of it.
What does it feel like when you successfully locate an object?
It's just a sort of certainty. It's this knowing feeling of where it's just like there's something, and you know when you've lost your keys and then you remember exactly where they are. He knows exactly where this thing is. He can like sense the direction, the distance. You know, he's just got it laser locked on.
There's a large amount of it upstairs.
Jack's eyes go wide, and a lot of like eager to spend the rest of this hour. Like, oh, I might leaf through this diary of a sad servant, or I might spend a lot of time. And now he's just anxious to get moving. As soon as he's pulled the rod, he's like, Red, there's a lot of adamantine upstairs.
Let's go!
And we have established that adamantine is like a valuable...
Well, Doran would know it well because it is an exceptional metal to forge with.
Really? I hope they're just ingots. You know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think we should head to the stairs and begin ascending. I'm ready to fight.
Me too.
Let's do it.
So you head through the double doors of the dining room back into this dark hallway. And there is a staircase ahead of you. It's polished dark wood, and it leads up to the second story of this villa. So there's a drafty hall that these stairs lead up to. There are unlit lanterns hanging from the rafters here. The hallway stretches in an east-west fashion, and so on the northern side, we have the large staircase, and then there are two doorways leading off on the north side. On the south side, there are also two doorways, and then one to the east.
Which way do I sense the adamantine?
It's coming from the southeast.
Jack, which way are we heading?
We're trying to get southeast. It's going to be through that door on the east there, I think. And then we got to find a way to head a little bit further south.
Makes sense to clear the first door anyway. I nod to Doran.
Absolutely.
Let's do this! I'm going to move up and into the hallway so that I am farther from the door, but have a good point of view for when they open it.
Doran turns the handle and actually gets on one knee so he's shorter. And he turns the handle and swings the door in slowly and then peers in.
You reveal a rectangular room that smells of powder.
Smells like powder.
You see a vanity with a stool laid in front of it. There's a folding screen obscuring part of the room. There's a black wardrobe in the back corner. A door leads north and a door leads south from this room.
Kraloth taps Doran on the shoulder and gestures up at his eyes and points at the wooden partition.
Jack's feeling a little complacent because this isn't a dungeon. This isn't like a weird crypt or something. This is like just a fancy house, and he's very comfortable in fancy houses. And so there's a moment of like coming upstairs, and yes, it's dangerous, but it's also just a house.
Yeah. I nod at Kraloth, and as we move in, Jack moves in with us. We flank this partition and peer around it.
Doran, you get a good look at three wooden chests as you pass by. They're just to your right side as you flank this wooden partition. The partition itself is got this bird of prey image on it that's kind of flashy. And the wardrobe behind it is made of glistening black wood. Kraloth, you kind of have to squeeze past the vanity table with a mirror, and you catch a glimpse of your own reflection as you move past it. There is nothing on the other side of this wooden partition except for this wardrobe.
So Doran kind of looks back, and he makes a very obvious shaking his head like nothing's there, like a nice slow shake.
What?
Jack, did you say you were also moving forward into the room?
Yeah, there's a moment where Doran and Kraloth like pull off their like soldier, clear the room kind of move. It's sort of a weird contrast for Jack. But after he sees them go in and make a little space, he's going to walk up to the other door to the south and open that one.
Okay.
I think Red will follow him too and back into a corner opposite the opening door. Again, just to fire over his shoulder should something try to swing at his head and take it off.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm protecting my buddy.
As you move into the room, Orin, from back in the darkness, whispers, "Good luck, Mr. Red."
Thank you.
How very cute. Yeah, I'm watching Jack.
Jack, you open the door and you look in on this square room. There's an oak writing desk on the far corner that's angled to face the doorway. There are some candlesticks atop it. There are 3 bookcases pushed against the walls. There's a wrought iron spiral staircase that leads up from this room. And on the corner just to the left of you, on the east side, there's a suit of black plate armor.
Cool.
It's just a suit of armor.
This looks to be the adamantine that you had expected to find.
Oh, cool.
The armor is the adamantine?
It's a lot of adamantine, a full set of armor.
Yeah, I think Jack sort of gives one of those like whistles that I can't do, just to like, whoa. Yeah, exactly. I think he tries and fails. He really wants to come off cool in this moment, and it's just like, whoa, look at that. Trying not to get too distracted by it, he sort of walks into the room and makes space for everybody else to come in and point to the suit of armor.
As you enter the room, the suit of armor turns its helm towards you, Jack, and this red flame burnishes from within and animates it into motion. Everyone roll initiative. Harlan, what'd you get for red?
21.
Kraloth?
4.
Rob, what about Jack?
10.
Doran?
18.
Doran, Zolkin tied with you for Anish. Did you want to go before or after him?
I'll go after.
So, top of the round. Red?
Sorry, do I have eyes on this or no?
You do not.
Okay. Oh, right! Red's going to move to the corner of this room, and I think I'm just going to ready an action, and I'm going to say, see if you can draw him into this room! And I'm going to aim at the door, and if he shows up, I will fire.
Totally. So you like jump down off the chest, bust your way past Doran, knock over the screen that's like impeding the view, and set up right in front of the wardrobe.
Exactly.
Aiming your bow through the doorway where Kraloth is standing.
Yep.
Next, it's Zolkin's turn. He's going to pull back out of the room, and he's going to, as he retreats a little bit into the darkened hallway, and he draws both of his scimitar and his dagger at the same time. So he's going to ready an action.
Flank him through the balcony. I think when we approached to the top of the stairs, there was a door that I assume led to outside because we saw a balcony at the front of the house.
Yeah, the southern door leads to this little balcony. So Zolkin...
Yeah, so I'll tell Zolkin to head out there and flank around this creature so that we have sort of 2 opposing sides.
Yeah, he draws his weapons and he puts his back to the door leading to the balcony, and he gets just a little bit out onto the balcony into this dark, cold night air. Doran, it's your turn. You see your companions move into action. Red draws his bow. People start yelling.
And Doran shockingly says, "What? The suit of armor came to life?"
Yeah, the one made of adamantine. I should have known. It's such a great metal to work with magically.
Holy moly.
I know.
Doran moves into the opposite corner of Red, and so he's standing right next to Kraloth in the open doorway, hoping that if these guys move in, I can be right there. If they pull back into this room, then I can take the first swipe, the classic axe through the stomach of whatever is coming through the door.
Right.
Axe through the invisible stomach.
So I ready my action, which is going to be swinging my axe.
So this enervated set of armor comes to life, and it's just, the heat is just roiling off of it in waves. Jack, as you stand in front of it, it puts its gauntleted hand to its side and pulls out a long sword from a sheath. It's wicked and hooked.
There's no need for that, friend.
It's going to swipe at you
Whoa!
twice.
All right.
That's only an 8.
That'll miss.
Oh, really? And a 20?
I try and duck out of the way and do not make it.
It's going to hit you 12 slashing damage.
Ouch.
Ay, chihuahua.
Back to where I was before we rested, down to 30 hit points.
It's your turn, Jack. How do you respond to this terrifying injury?
Well, how tall is the roof in here?
The ceilings are about 10 feet, you would guesstimate with your mental ruler.
Perfect. Enough that I'm going to grab my orb out of my pouch and hold it out and just sort of spin it in my hand in a way that sort of spins backwards, creating some lift, trying to levitate this suit of armor up against the roof. So yeah, I need a Constitution saving throw versus my spell save of 15.
That's a 20, dirty.
Bummer.
Yes. You try to levitate the creature, and as your orb spins, it picks up bits of paper in the room, and you see the creature's feet lift 4 inches off the ground, and then it resolutely returns back to the ground.
Seeing that that's not going to work with that big like clang as it comes back to the ground, I try and like squeeze through the doorway past Kraloth into the room to the north where Red is.
Okay, it's going to make it an attack of opportunity against you. It's a dirty 20.
Oof.
Do it.
5 damage.
Ouch.
So non-committal.
Slashing through the back of my leg as I'm diving out the room. That thing is nasty.
Kraloth, it's your turn. You see this creature take 2 nice chunks out of your friend Jack, who fails to cast a spell and then rolls out of the room.
Yeah, and I step aside as he runs past me, the creature's blade slashing at his back, and holding up my shield, and I pull out my mace, and I back up a step so that my body is guarding Jack fully, and I'm going to ready in action to attack this thing when he walks through the room. Let's pin this sucker!
Okay. Red, it's your turn.
We're luring it, so I think I'll probably just ready my action.
Zolkin bursts into the other room.
Oren, tell Zolkin to stop. We're luring the creature into this room.
Okay, Mr. Red.
Then I will just ready an attack for when he enters into the room.
Okay, so Red continues to strain against the tension of his bowstring.
Building up power.
Wub, 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 wub. Zolkin's turn. He heeds your direction. Red, as the more seasoned fighter, probably comes back from being in the hallway to stand between Kraloth and Doran, further shielding Jack from attacks. And he's got his scimitar out ready to do damage. He's going to ready an action, I think. Should the animated armor come within 5 feet of him, he's going to try to strike him. Next up, Doran's turn.
I'm going to continue to ready my action to swing and hit this thing. I'm doubling up my readies.
It's really eerie, Doran, as you look into this darkened chamber, because the glow from this creature is emanating from the corner. And as you hold your breath and hold your axe above your head, waiting for this armor to come in, you hear it clank, clank, clank towards you through the doorway. And as it bursts in to this dressing room, everyone's going to get a chance to take their readied actions. We'll start with top of the round. Red, you get a chance to fire an arrow at it.
Brilliant. This thing has not taken any damage yet,
It
correct?
has not.
A pretty light attack. That is going to be a 26 to hit.
You hit.
Nice.
8 damage. Now, I have an extra attack. I readied my action. When I attack, I can attack again.
Multi-attack is an action.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can make both of your attacks.
Get it.
And this time, I will get to do Colossus Slayer if I hit, because it is damaged now, I'm assuming.
Do the thing.
13.
No, that misses. I mean, your arrow hits the armor, but it just clangs off, doing no damage.
Bummer. Okay.
Next person with a readied action, Zolkin, is going to try to stab the armor. Zolkin sees the arrows just whiz by his face. Ah! Ooh, I rolled a 19 and a 17.
Nice.
Nice.
Good job, Zolkin.
So I'm going to hit twice, one with my scimitar.
Nice.
That's maximum damage.
Ooh. Wow.
So he takes 15 damage.
Nice.
Dope.
Beautiful.
I'm going to roll once more for my dagger. So sling, sling. 2 hits with the scimitar and a miss with the dagger. Doran, now you get to use your axe if you'd like.
Yes. And Doran comes down on the creature's head with a 26.
I thought it was a stomach slash, but yes, that hits.
Last minute
it
switch.
was originally
Called shot.
But then you described it with my axe over my head, so I thought I'll just go with that.
Yeah, why not?
Because that's my first hit, doing 7 damage. And then I'm going to do my second attack. So it kind of looks like a jab with the point of my axe with a 19.
Oof.
Nice.
to hit,
Yeah, that hits.
doing 11 damage.
Finally, Kraloth, you also get to take your action. What do you do?
Yes, I swing my mace at the walking metal thing, and I get a 22 to hit.
Yeah, you do.
7 points of damage.
Well done.
Wa-chunk!
That's teamwork right there, guys.
Yeah, nicely done.
The creature's head makes this like bell type sound as your mace clangs off of the helm, and it raises its spiked longsword up over its head with 2 hands, Kraloth, and tries to bring it down on you.
I try to bring up my shield in time.
One is an 11 and one is a 21.
Oh, the 21 definitely hits, but the 11 does not.
Okay. So he hits you once with this vicious attack.
Oof.
11 slashing damage to you.
Ouch.
The onslaught is just relentless. He's moving forward into the room. Jack, it's your turn. So you see this creature just come in. Everyone lets loose with everything they had stored up. And
Jack's a moment behind everybody else and getting an attack ready for this thing, but he's on his back foot, back up against the wall, and it's time for a little bit of that magical jazz he does. He gets ready. You can see these missiles of force conjure in the air around him, and he throws as much extra power as he can at them, giving them. I'm going to use a 3rd level spell for magic missiles to get 5 of them, and then I'm going to throw the extra 1st level spell in there with my alchemical casting to give him some extra force damage and try and blast this thing with a whole bunch of missiles of force.
okay, roll for it.
18 damage from the first one. And then 34.
As your missiles slam one after the into this armor, your eyes widen in surprise as absolutely nothing happens to the creature.
Damn.
Watching each one just sort of bounce off this thing as if nothing's going on. Can I sort of get a sense of, like, can I rule out what this thing is, what it's doing, how it works? Can I sort of roll an Arcana to get a sense of what the fuck?
Certainly.
I'd like to roll for what the fuck.
Yeah, what the fuck, please? 19, so 29.
It's definitely immune to force damage.
Yeah, what the fuck is this thing? Tell me about animated armors.
It's a construct.
Yeah.
This is not your standard suit of animated armor in any way. You would probably not want to be dealing any poison damage to it. It's definitely got some damage resistances to anything that's non-magical.
Yeah.
It's got blind sight, so even if you're around the corner, it still knows exactly where you are.
So I heard force and poison damage were no good. Is there anything else that I would know about, like what is particularly effective, if anything?
It's got no damage vulnerabilities.
And are force and poison the only things I would imagine it's immune to?
You probably wouldn't do necrotic damage either.
Okay, great. Yeah.
It's also going to probably have advantage on saving throws against your spells. So that's probably why it felt like it didn't really have to levitate when you told it to.
Certainly didn't help. So Jack's back is against the wall. He threw everything magically he had at this thing, and it's the second spell that's just bounced off it. And so he's like, Red, those magic arrows going to come in really handy, but I would be really concerned for anybody's attacks that weren't magical.
I got this, guys. Don't worry.
Why have I never created anything magical? Darn you, Moradin.
Kraloth, as you feel the air of these magic missiles passing, just skimming your body as they curve around you to get at this armor that you're sort of obscuring, and you see the explosions that are just these missiles blasting at the armor and doing nothing. You hear Jack's words ringing in your mind.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I say, thanks for the tip, Jack. That should help. Red, get ready. You know what to do.
Bone ready, buddy.
And I begin to channel Path to the Grave.
Nice.
Yeah, whatever attack hits it next, he's vulnerable to it.
Cool. Red, it's your turn. You see that familiar magic being cast by your friend.
I reach into my new quiver, Fare Thee Beyond the Sea, and I pull out one of my magical arrows and I knock it. First, I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on this bad boy. That'll give it a 1d6. I'm going to do 1d8 damage regularly, and I'm going to do another 1d8 because he has been wounded, I'm assuming. I'm also going to use my inspiration to roll with advantage.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm going to make this a sharpshooter hit.
Let's see it happen.
Smile for me, you motherfucker. Here we go. The old 1-2. A natural 1.
Oh, come on.
And a 19.
Nice.
Yeah, that hits.
25 damage.
And it is vulnerable, so you double everything.
So that is 50 damage magic.
Wabam!
So Kraloth just showers this creature in radiant sparks as you create your path to the grave. And Red, you take careful aim at this creature with your sharpshooter abilities, and the arrow sinks directly into the mouth of this helmet, and the creature just sort of like starts shaking more and more and more, and then boom! It explodes, and this like shrapnel from the armor just lodges in all places of the room.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
That's really good teamwork, guys. Good job.
High five.
Between Jack's knowledge and then Kraloth's application and Red's skill.
And Doran was there too.
And Doran was there.
Red hops down from, I'm assuming he was like standing on a chest. Didn't you say there were chests over on this side of the room, actually?
So you were actually standing right in front of this wardrobe.
Yeah.
You had knocked down the room divider screen in order to get in like this advantageous position tactically. But yeah, there are 3 chests in the north end of the room. There's a vanity on the south side of the room.
Doran's just kind of mind blown at what he just saw. That was incredible. What the hell even was that?
The armor itself was enchanted, Doran. It had with an awful force. I don't know how they did it.
Holy mo! And he looks down on the ground, and in front of him, there's a chunk of the adamantine. It ricocheted off my axe, and it landed right on the floor at my feet.
Yeah, it's like hot to the touch.
Steaming, yeah.
But
yeah.
It's about fist size, maybe?
The size of my fist? Like a nice big fist? Okay.
Don't worry, Doran. The metal is quite cool.
Oh, it's fucking hot.
I think I want to cast Detect Magic.
Red, as you cast Detect Magic and look around the room, there's a faint glimmer coming from within the jewelry box that is atop the vanity.
Yeah, Red heads over and checks the vanity.
So there are 6 bottles of fine perfume within this vanity. There's a silver hairbrush inlaid with lapis lazuli, which I recognize from Minecraft.
Probably
now.
more than 100 years old, if I had to guess.
I mean, if Doran had to guess, yeah, he would probably estimate to be more than 100 years old.
But geologically,
Jack, you might like that silver hairbrush I can see over there.
oh yeah, I'll look at it in a minute. I think Jack's still sort of standing back to the wall, processing everything that just happened. He's still bleeding from a couple of sword swipes from this thing's jeweled sword.
There's like a smoking
holding-
chunk
yeah, like-
of adamantine in the wall beside your head.
Yeah, just like an outline of it. He's barely escaped alive. Just a little shook.
Inside the wooden jewelry box, you open it and the blinding glare of this magic comes from within. You find 2 potions of healing in thin crystal vials. And then aside from that, there's a pearl necklace and a platinum cameo shaped like a winged cat.
Kraloth is a little out of breath, and he puts a hand up to his forehead that has a nasty slash on it, but it could be worse. It's mostly just cosmetic. And he kneels down next to Jack and says, "How you doing, buddy? You gonna need some help with that wound?"
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that. You know, there's a moment where it flashes between. I realized there's very little I could do to stop that thing. I had none of the tools I had for all my magic were gonna help me.
I'm just glad you're okay.
Yeah.
Don't want you dying on your birthday. And I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds as a level 1 on Jack.
Oh, thank you.
The blood stops seeping out of the wound in your side.
That's better. Oh,
Jack, he gets 6 points of health back.
nice.
And we'll search the chests on the north side of the room.
The chests on the north side of the room contain shoes, some bridal gowns, some seasonal hats. Nothing terribly valuable if you're not a fine-looking lady.
Yeah, Red definitely puts a hat on Doran.
Good. What kind of hat?
It's like a big floppy sun hat. Here, Doran! This'll look perfect on you.
Doran pulls the hat off. He's not amused. And he looks back at Red, though, and he says, here. And he passes the adamantine. He says, next time we have some downtime and a forge, I will show you what I can do with this. And he hands this large chunk of adamantine, plops it into the bag of holding then.
Everyone's starting to sober up and feel the effects of like early morning. And so we're now moving to that grumpy phase of like post-drinking.
Yeah,
A
tired.
little dehydrated.
Little headache coming on.
What's in that room? And Doran moves towards the door on the north side of this powder room.
I hope it's coffee.
And he opens the door and swings it open without much care.
Okay. This is a larger square room. There's a 4-post canopied bed with a shroud around it.
Ooh.
There's another freestanding wooden privacy screen, a clawfoot cast iron bathtub in a corner with a fireplace. It's apparent that the dumbwaiter also comes up to this room.
What an idiot.
'Cause there's a door in the wall. And there is an iron chest with a padlock on it.
Do you see anything with your detect magic in that chest?
I'm not too sure. I can't tell if it's metal.
All right, well, keep an eye out for traps.
Doran walks up and hacks at the lock. Should I roll for this? Or?
Yeah, you'd roll.
With a natural 20.
Whoa!
Oh!
Ah! Yes!
Nice. The lock is cleft in twain.
Just shears
And
the metal.
it falls to the ground. The
Ka-dunk,
chest
ka-dunk.
is now unlocked.
And I open it slowly.
You find a couple of things within this chest. There are 3 thin black covered books. There's a leather bundle and then a darker leather, slightly smaller bundle. There's a coin pouch inside and then a set of pipes.
I'll approach. Are any of the items glowing magic?
Yeah, the pipes appear to be glowing with magic.
Interesting.
Like pipes as in musical pipes?
Yeah, like a pan flute sort of situation.
Cool. Yeah, I reach down and I pick up the pan pipes and I say, these are magical.
Yeah, and while Red's doing that, I was kind of already on my knees, and I'm starting to unravel the larger leather-bound package.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2, right? One was smaller and one was
Yes,
larger?
a larger one and a smaller one. So, Red, you take the pipes out and examine them. Doran, you take a look at this larger leather satchel. As you unfurl it, you are immediately struck with a sense of familiarity. These are
Ooh.
calligrapher's supplies, similar to
Ah.
the ones that Jack has been using to help teach you cartography.
Interesting.
So it's worth about 15 gold. There's some fine parchment, some inks, quills of different sizes, and different ink nibs.
Calligrapher tools. Interesting. And then I'll keep these if you guys don't mind.
Go for it.
And then I open up the smaller one.
As you lift the smaller leather satchel out of this chest, you notice this almost imperceptible rise of the bottom of the lid.
Uh-oh.
And then you hear a faint sound.
Uh-oh.
Red, Doran, and Kraloth as well, please make a constitution save.
Oh, no.
23 for me.
14.
3.
What's going on in there?
I heard a click.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I tripped something.
Red, you take 18 poison damage as you inhale this huge whiff of poisonous gas. And you see this radius of gas just emerge like a cloud from the chest and hovers around in the room. What do you do?
I run away.
Yeah, so you leave the room. Anyone else?
Distracted by the cloud, I'm going to forget the dumbwaiter and I'm going to leave as well.
Oh, oh, jeez. I'm really sorry about that. And I don't.
Did you fart?
No, it was a trap.
Are you okay?
And I open up the smaller package. It's probably just a weight or something, isn't it?
No, it's a set of vials and needles that you're not able to immediately identify. So you hang out in the area of effect of this cloud.
No. There's nothing else, right? I just grab whatever's left in there and leave
Coin pouch and 3 black books.
Oh, that's right. So I grab everything and leave the room.
Make another con save for me, Doran. Just as you spend some time collecting these items, unwrapping this other kit.
16.
You're fine. So, Doran, you are clutching all of these items and you rush from the room holding your breath.
Immediately.
Yeah, you have your arms totally full of books and Red, I think you took the pipes, but that's it, right?
Yeah.
But I'd come out with my arms full and I say, okay, I'm gonna keep the calligrapher's tools. And then, one by one, the things are removed from my hands. Jack takes the 3 books. Red takes the coin purse.
Sure. Zolkin is like, as long as we're claiming things, do you mind? And he reaches toward the smaller set that was wrapped in leather.
The vials and needles?
What's in there?
I'm not really sure. And I do hand it to Zolkin.
Looks to be a set of, I think this is poison.
Well, maybe you should try drinking it.
Yeah, I'm fine if he wants it.
So you have some books, you have some magical pipes. Doran's got his hands on the calligrapher supplies.
And they go into my pouch.
Zolkin called it on the poisoner's kit. The coin pouch, that's about it.
Well, let's keep moving. Let's take a look at these other 2 rooms on this floor, and then I think we should ascend that staircase that was in the room with the horror.
Sure. So everyone moves back into the darkened hallway. Jack, you have your hands on these slim, black covered notebooks. Did you want to take a peek inside?
I do want to just take a quick look to see if they've got a title or what's inside of it, what language it's in, if I can even read it.
You can't. You can't read it.
Interesting.
What?
Do I recognize the script at all? Or like, is it in letters I understand, or is it entirely, or letters I recognize?
I'm not sure if you would.
I've got just the spell for this later.
So this long hallway has 2 doors that lead to the north, and there's one that leads to the south. The 2 doors to the north reveal 2 similar bedrooms. So the one that is farther west, I guess at the end of the hall, it's a drab, dark room that contains a bed. There's a wooden chest, a side table, a fireplace, etc. It's just a bedroom.
What's in the chest?
Inside the chest, you find some apparel that would fit a slender person cut in a feminine style, and there's a signet ring.
Oh.
It's gold, and it reads, "Stone hearts never bleed," in little runes all along the perimeter of it.
I'd like that. If I could.
In the center bedroom, I guess, it's a little bit smaller. You find a very similar array of furniture, and inside the chest, there are some garments that would fit a larger masculine person. No jewelry here. The door leading to the south reveals a nicer, larger bedroom. It's dark. There are curtains covering the windows. It contains a bed, an iron chest, a claw-footed iron bathtub, and a fireplace. Now, Red, I think your detect magic is still active.
Yep.
You detect no magic in this room.
The chest, does it... does it look like the key that I found would fit in this chest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the large chest doesn't really have a locking mechanism that's external to the chest, but there is a keyhole.
Brilliant. I will... perfect. Okay.
Now, Red, I am resilient to lots of different poisons, if you'd prefer me to try this one.
All right. And I put the key in Doran's little hand, and I stand next to him.
All right.
Ready to run for
you
the
might
door.
want to step back. And so Doran does. He unlocks the chest and opens up the lid.
This large chest is otherwise empty apart from a cube-shaped item. It's about 6 inches on each side.
And Doran reaches in and sort of making the face like, is it gonna explode? Picks up the cube. And
nothing explodes.
Okay. And so
you hold a curious item in your hands.
And so holding the curious item, I turn towards Red and I, still making the same face, here you go, Red. Hopefully it doesn't explode.
And I take it very nonchalantly and I just take a look at it.
Red, this cube is non-magical, and for its size, it's surprisingly heavy. Something about it terrifies you and intrigues you. In fact, when your paws close around it, you are filled with a dark sense of dread.
A mysterious object. Yes, please. Thank you so much once again to our great Old One Patreon supporters, Kellen Holman and Christopher Ryan Evans. Thank you, friends, for supporting us, and please consider joining our Patreon to support the show and gain access to our exclusive show, Malevolent It's Spooky. See you next week.